actually what we really need is more ethics.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Continue, educating the public about, what's going on, and people need to wake up and realize that, what we've been doing, all these years is not the correct thing. And that goes with, the way we treat our planet as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's why we're here, right, Leyton? That's why we're here, to continue educating the public, to letting them know what's right and wrong when it comes to the whole animal world.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing that, people kept asking me, well, how can we stop this? And I said, we probably can't stop it, but the one thing we can do is educate. That's getting organizations actually into public school systems, helping young people be more aware of what's happening out there. And here's the deal. I tell kids all the time, you're not doing it. It's adults who are doing this.
Right.
So when you become an adult, don't do this.
Right.
Don't do this.
Right.
Another little story just popped in my head, and it's a story that makes me feel really good, because just knowing this one story tells me that I have made some sort of an impact, right?
Good. Yeah.
So you never got a chance to meet Raven, this beautiful black and silver timber wolf that I spent 12 years with, traveling around the country, doing educational programs with him from California, New Mexico, South Dakota, all Colorado, Arizona, Texas. We went everywhere together.
Yeah.
And I got a call one day from a preschool, and they said, we want you to come do an educational program at our preschool. I'm like, preschool? These are little tiny kids. These are 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds. How can I teach these kids? Sure. What can I say?
Right.
This is a wolf. He has really fuzzy fur. He has pointy up ears and a bushy tail. I'm done. Right. I don't know what else to say. What do you say to preschoolers? Because they're just sucking their thumb and crawling around. And so Raven and I go there, and I sit down on the carpet, and the kids are all around, and I did just that. This is a wolf. He has big feet. He has a fluffy tail and pointy up ears. And then I'm like, I don't know what to say. Yeah. And there's some parents there. And I said, parents, help me out. Yeah. What do I do? Now, Raven is actually lying down behind me.
Yeah.
So they can only see his head and his tail on either side of me, and he's completely not looking at anyone, right? And now I'm stumped. I don't know what to tell preschoolers, because I want to teach college students, and high school students, so I can give them some kind of education.
Sure.
And so I'm like, parents, help me. And a dad says, well, does he howl? I'm like, oh. And here's what I did. I just turned and said, hey, Raven, do you howl like magic, like he was trained, like this was a show?
Yeah.
He just, ooh, and I'm like, I'm a hero. I'm a hero. He just howled. He was like, what provoked that?
That
right?
is funny.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Fast forward now, 17 more years.
Wow.
This guy comes to the wolf sanctuary. He's got his beautiful bride with him and their 1-year-old baby on his shoulders. And he sees me. He said, you came to my preschool.
Wow.
I'm like, what? And he told me. I'm like, of course I couldn't recognize you.
Yeah.
But he remembered me. Sure. He remembered the experience, and he brought his child.
Wow.
To come and get that education. And then 3 years later, he comes again with the second baby.
Wow.
Right? So there was some impact there.
Absolutely.
And that is what made the job worthwhile, right? To be able to barely educate a preschooler who's bringing his kids to teach them.
Right.
That's awesome to me.
Right. No, that's what it's all about. You make a difference with one person, and then that person pays it forward, and and it continues to trickle on here and there. So that's exactly what we need to be doing, and continue educating our kids nowadays, because they're going to be the future, and they're the ones going to be determine how we treat our animals in the future.
Yeah, how we treat this planet.
How we treat this planet, yeah. And
You know,
luckily,
and
I think kids are more aware now, just because I think it's the generation, for example, my generation having kids now, we're a little bit more awake. I feel we're educating our kids about what's going on. So I feel maybe by, another generation, 2 more generations from now, we might have a whole generation to think completely different than in the last 40, 50 years.
Well, I certainly hope so, because there's something I've noticed. I'm sure you have, and I'm sure somewhere it's been mentioned. But here's the new pollution.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You see them everywhere. They're in the streets, they're in the gutters, they're in the oceans, they're in the streams. They're everywhere. And it's like, people, haven't we learned? We've been talking about plastic straws and 6-pack containers for all these years, but now you're throwing your masks, just throwing them out.
Yeah.
Instead of disposing of them in a
proper way. Yeah.
It's disheartening for me, because it's making me feel like we're not being successful in this education. And I can just pray for these next generations that they're going to have a higher sense of awareness.
Right. No, I completely agree. Definitely, yeah. No, I do see it myself. I go down parking lots now, and that's all you see is gloves and masks on the floor, and people don't realize all this stuff ends up in the gutter. So,
yeah, or in an animal, or wrapped around a bird's neck, or a turtle's carrying a 6-pack container, and I've seen many photos already of even predator birds that have got masks caught around their necks, and they can't get them off.
That's unfortunate.
They don't have the limbs, they don't have the means to get these things off of them. So so they're flying around with this burden.
Right.
And so we have to. I just feel so sorry for our Earth, and what humans have done. And just the closing their eyes to what, to me and you, seems painfully obvious.
Right. Absolutely. No, and like I said, I mean, and that's why we're here. That's why we make the effort to to do these podcasts, the documentaries, all that, just so that we can continue waking up people, because it's it's helped. I know it's helped me. It's helped me inspired to keep going with some of the other work that I've seen some other people or other activists do. So it's a necessity, and we need to get more activists out there to spread the word and continue educating the public. The animals are not here for our entertainment. They're here. We can coexist with them without having to disrupt them.